Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Okay, kidney disease. Okay, now, I figure how many in here have two? Okay, cool, the majority. Okay, so we're going to go over this because when we're looking at it, if you haven't noticed, there's a boatload of dialysis centers going all around the country. And so we're doing something that's not right. Now, we do have the censored portion, and we're going to talk a lot about certain testing, okay? Because this is a great way to control the world. Now, with the censorship, they're censoring a lot of the YouTube, they're censoring Facebook. They've deleted about 150 videos that we have because I know what you're thinking. America, free speech, right? Okay. Yeah, no. You can't say things like that. Okay. And so there is a censorship because if people are speaking the truth, then we're going to be empowered and then we take back our country. So we have True Health Tuesdays that we started. So if one YouTube goes down, we have a backup. We're also on YouTube or Odyssey, Rumble, everything. Okay, so and the Dr. B VIP, if you're watching it through that, thank you very much. Thanks for supporting us because this you'll be able to watch it uninterrupted. You're going to get the handouts and PowerPoints, and so I encourage you to share this because currently the site is protected. It only costs like $2.97 a month. Okay, or $29 a year. So your assistance is appreciated, but it's somewhat protected. Okay, to take that down, they got to arrest us. Now we also have the Dr. Bree apprenticeship program where we're teaching doctorate level anatomy and physiology. It's the last Thursday of every month. This Thursday coming up, we're going to talk about blood, liver, and kidneys. Okay, and spleen, like how that system actually works to break down fats. And Extreme Health Academy, amazing. Get on there. I think you can still get the Dr. B 14 or I think it's Bergman 14 is the passcode, and you get it for 2 weeks for free. But it's going to be a heck of a 2 weeks. Now, with the censorship, there's certain things that we can't say. Now, if I say there's censored, okay, and the word that we can't say, it's not Voldemort, but it does start with a V, okay, for Harry Potter fans, and it happens to be an injectable medical process. So we're going to call it ventured, okay? So if you can get that, if not, okay, get your information from CNN. Okay, these are the toxins that we're exposed to, okay? Literally prescription drugs, amalgam fillings, dental, processed foods, synthetic foods, ventured, which are injectable medical devices, predatory fish, farm fish, toxic environment. This is like a short list. But just know that you're exposed to a huge amount of toxins. But your body has always been exposed to toxins. And so we always have methods that we can eliminate those toxins. Now, you've got 4 detoxing pathways. And this is huge that you pay attention to this because if you have kidney damage, you can actually ease the pressure off of the kidneys by actually utilizing the other detoxing methods. So you got respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urination. Okay, so the kidneys are essential. But also think of this, if you're not breathing healthy, so what did we talk about last week? Diaphragmatic breathing. You're actually getting rid of carbon dioxide, and that alkalinizes the system. But also when you're breathing out a whole bunch more than carbon dioxide. That's why if you're in an insane world, okay, that requires you to do something like cover your face, which there's no scientific data on that it will weaken your immune system because you're rebreathing in waste. It's kind of like not drinking healthy amounts of water. But perspiration, if you have kidney disease or kidney disorders, increase respiration. Look at our video from last week. If you have kidney disorders, you have to increase perspiration. This means sauna. This means detoxing the system. If you have a problem with kidneys, you got to increase bowel movements. Okay, so if you've been diagnosed with kidney disease because you've been taking a medication like a diuretic or beta blocker, okay, or you've gotten some injectable thing that we can't mention because of the censorship, okay, they're called Vensards, okay, then utilize the other three. So just get on with the program, okay? Because your body can survive. Now, kidney failure is incredibly popular now in America. This is why. I mean, can anyone here remember when you were like a teenager? Okay. I mean, most of you are. Okay. I know, it was like last week. Okay, wait, let me go back into a time frame, okay? 70s and 80s, okay? Do you remember dialysis centers everywhere? No, of course not. I mean, it's like in front of my gym, they had a pediatric physical therapist. And I thought, huh? You know, give them a stick, a bat, and a ball, you know? But no, the kids are getting damaged. The adults are getting damaged. So there's something wrong. Is it that you have defective kidneys? Is that why we need dialysis centers? Like, are they sitting kidney dialysis centers up in Africa for the water buffalo? No, the water buffalo don't need it. Okay, if the water buffalo had kidney damage, would we go over there and put up dialysis centers, or would we find the toxins that they're exposed to and what's actually damaging the kidneys? Because your species, your human species, has been around for thousands of generations. You're designed to live here. You're not designed to live with the crap that they're giving you. So 100,000 a year. Diabetes is the most common cause. What's the most common cause or type of diabetes? Type 2. What's type 2 diabetes? A blood poisoning. 44% from diabetes. 24 million have diabetes. 180,000 are living with kidney failure from diabetes. Okay, so let's look at this. What is, okay, the blood actually has a function. Now you have two kidneys. They're just the size of my fist. Well, mine are this size. You're probably smaller if you have a smaller fist or a larger fist. But they filter 6 quarts of blood, okay, every 20 minutes. So they're highly vascularized. Now what's neat is the way the kidney is, all that blood's got to go through there. Now, the blood has an actual function. It carries oxygen, it carries nutrients, it balances the pH, vital for the immune system, help for the repair mechanism, communication, it carries the hormones. I mean, it's amazing. So if you have unhealthy blood and it has to get through that kidney, what do you think has to happen to blood pressure? Okay, good. Yeah, it goes up. So let's look at this. Now, the kidneys also, now let's say you're exposed to an environment that has low oxygen. Okay, right now we're in Huntington Beach, dude. Okay, you know, we're close to the ocean. Okay, so we're low. We're, you know, a little bit above sea level. But if we were in Colorado, okay, or the Mile High City, we would have low oxygen. So the body would sense that low oxygen, then the kidneys would produce erythropoietin to tell our bones to start producing more red blood cells. And if you're training for a sport, you would go up there and train there, capture your blood, which is rich with blood cells, and you can do blood doping, which is a legal form of cheating. Well, I think it's legal. I don't know. It's hard to catch. Okay, just know that blood health is going to stimulate kidney production. This, though, is the blood that we see. In normal, the red blood cells should have an electronegative charge, okay? And they should be repelling each other, so they should be separate. Now, an actual red blood cell looks like two Frisbees glued together. It's called a biconcave disc. And the reason that's designed like that is because it has a huge amount of surface area to carry oxygen, carbon dioxide. Now, when you're in a stress state, and there's only 3 stressors, there's physical, chemical, and emotional stress, you're producing less stomach acid. Okay, that means less available amino acids because you're only alive because you got the amino acids from the protein, fatty acids from the fats, and usable sugars from the carbohydrates. So with the low stomach acid, you get less amino acids and the cells start to get sticky. Okay, they lose their electronegative charge and they start to clump together. So what does that mean? That means they have less surface area. And less surface area. So wait a second, the blood has a lot of functions. Now let's think about this. If your blood has a function to hold oxygen, and it holds less oxygen, but you got to get the same blood through the lungs and through the kidneys, what has to happen to blood pressure? So wait a second, so your blood pressure is going to go up based on the efficiency of the blood. Your blood pressure is going to go up based on the efficiency of the kidneys. So chronically stressed, it looks like worms. I mean, that's literally what blood clots look like on an X-ray. Now, there's certain medical procedures that are going around that we can't talk about because again, we're in America and we no longer have that First Amendment of freedom of speech. The blood on the left, okay, you're seeing some fibroid formation, and you can see it starting to clump together. The blood on the right is a more normal sample, more normal. When we look at this is incredibly pathological. Okay, this is what blood clots look like on a microscope. Now, let's say that you have 6 quarts of blood, and they've got to go through the kidney, okay? And the blood looks like this. Do you think that might strain the kidney? Yes or yes? And I'm going to make it really easy. I know, duh. Okay, so what gives this? Physical, chemical, emotional stress. So we have to identify what the stressors are. Now, what's neat is the way the body works, your body works the same for every kind of stress. So if you're hit by a car, okay, and I'm not talking legs broken or anything, I mean just, fender bender. That has the same effect on your central nervous system as an emotional trauma. Same effect as a chemical trauma. So physical, chemical, emotional stimulates this automatic nervous system. Now, the automatic nervous system is actually located in your body. The parasympathetic, the rest, digest, and repair, the part that's responsible for regenerating tissue. And your body builds 1 billion cells a day. That's located in the pelvis and the neck. So can you imagine having some kind of trauma that may have injured the neck or the pelvis? Would that alter how your body is resting, digesting, and repairing? Absolutely. But since we're in a constant state of, like, does anybody in here watch TV? Okay. Do you just for the hell of it, because I know the type of attitude you have, do you turn on CNN to see what the other people are looking at? And you can only stand that for like 5 minutes. And it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I know what it is, squirrel. Okay, it's all distraction. Who's responsible for food shortages? One word starts with a P, Putin. Right on, baby. Yeah, gas prices, Putin. Yep. Good, Putin. Wait, no, that was Wuhan. Never mind. Okay, so it's ridiculous. Okay, but now when we look at effects of psychological stress on serum lipid levels, hemoconcentration, and blood viscosity, when you're in a stress state, and there's only 3 stressors. This means if you have kidney issues, kidney damage, you address the cause. You don't take a stupid drug that causes more damage. That's dumb. Okay? And I'm trying to get away from saying dumb, but that's dumb. Okay? So your body starts to clump those cells together. And we're looking at mental stress elicits hemoconcentration associated with increases in serotonin, hemostatic, and blood viscosity. So it thickens the blood. It causes the kidneys to work harder. Now, the functional unit of the kidney, when you look at the kidney, size of my fist, it's loaded with thousands of these nephrons. And the nephrons go down to one single cell. It's called a loop of Henle, then it comes up. So this filtration system is down to the cellular level. And I know what you're thinking right now. Oh my gosh, I just saw those clumped together cells. Would stress cause kidney damage? Yeah. If you get a person that's not trained really well, they're jogging with a marathon, people can literally, if they make it through a marathon, they can be urinating blood for a week because they cause kidney damage. Boxers, MMA fighters, they can cause kidney damage. So the kidneys are used to being damaged, but they're also used to repairing. Because the blood the kidney is super vascularized, and the blood carries all the nutrients and everything to start healing it. So you might think, well, gosh, if kidneys are damaged all the time and they get repaired all the time, why do people have so many kidney disorders? Because they're not fixing the freaking problem. They're not fixing the health of the blood and addressing the underlying physical, chemical, emotional stressors. Now, it's interesting, most kidney drugs target the nephrons because this is crazy, stupid world. Okay. Now, and we're going to get in how incredibly insane it is. Physical, chemical, emotional stress that makes the blood cells stick together, increases viscosity, okay, and fat concentrations. If I stood on anyone's foot in here, would your blood pressure be normal or go up? Oh, wait a second. So if the blood cells are clumped together, does your blood pressure stay normal because it can't hold oxygen as well, or would it go up? It would go up. So in crazy stupid world, you would say, wow, high blood pressure is the cause of kidney disease. Okay, in normal world, we say, oh my God, anything that would raise blood pressure is going to thicken up the blood. It's going to put you in a sympathetic dominant state, which is going to increase the blood flow to the kidneys. So really high blood pressure is an adaptation, not a pathology. Okay, but that's only if you have common sense. Wait, I know, common sense is rare. We got to come up with a new term. You're right. Okay, so diuretics, which is a blood pressure drug, actually damage the kidneys. Okay, but it's the first line of defense because obviously high blood pressure damages the kidney. No, high blood pressure is an adaptive. Now, nephrons are very, very tiny. They can be plugged. Yeah, if you have, clumping together the blood vessels, it can be inflamed, high blood sugar, high insulin, diabetes, go hand in hand. So we're looking at a third of Americans have type 2 diabetes. Okay, a third. That's about 100 million people. Now, what insulin does, so let's just go over type 1, type 2. Insulin's only job, is to get energy out of the blood into the cells. Okay, in type 1 diabetes, that's typically an autoimmune condition done by certain injectable procedures that actually can damage and cause antibodies. That's also caused by a leaky gut, causing proteins undigested or not tempered by digestion, and then an antibody response to those proteins. So there's a lot of reasons that there's a rise in type 1, but that's a very small amount. Okay, you're talking less than 4%. 95% of everybody has type 2 diabetes. Now, type 2 diabetics have plenty of insulin. Get insulin for days. It's no big deal. Okay, but what happens is insulin's job, go in, knock on the cell opens up, glucose goes in, cell closes up. Okay, bitchin'. That's a great way. That's how energy gets into the cells. Type 2 diabetes, there is a boatload of insulin, okay, but the body goes up, knocks on the cells, the insulin, and the cells don't open up. So it's called insulin-resistant diabetes. Okay, it's because we're poisoning ourselves and we're getting energy or we're taking in food products that we're not able to metabolize. Okay, so this is going to be synthetic foods, processed foods, and if you're eating while you're under stress, the body's going to put that stored energy in belly, seat, and thighs, and that's cortisol. So type 2 diabetes is a blood poisoning. It's not an insulin thing. Now, in, again, crazy stupid world, they're going to start to give insulin to type 2 diabetes, which can develop type 3 diabetes or brain damage. Okay, and what's the official cause of type 2 diabetes? Unknown, because you're not going to look at diet and exercise. You are going to look at metformin and glucophage. Now, if you decide to treat type 2 diabetes, which is a blood poisoning from toxic food, with the medication does lower blood glucose. Insulin levels remain high. It's the insulin that does the damage. So if you according to the British Medical Journal, you lower blood glucose 9%, you have a 19% increase in death. Death is way harder to recover from than type 2 diabetes. I know there's a few Catholics in here saying, no, baby, my guy's got it. Okay, so if you lower blood glucose 14%, you have a 43% increase in death. Okay, so it's not medication deficiency, although we are living in an insane world that thinks that every symptom has a chemical solution. Why? Because they're running our government now. So we can look at Dr. Gabriel Cousens' Cure for Diabetes, Dr. Bernstein, Diabetes Solution, The End of Diabetes, Joel Fuhrman. It's the same thing. I mean, I want you to support these guys, okay? But it's basically you're going to eat like your great-grandparents, okay? I mean, I know that we're nuts. They only ate whole food, organic, and seasonal. I know. And your great-great-grandparents, okay? So you're looking at this, that what, 180 liters of blood a day go through that. So if the blood pressure is elevated, it's not going to cause damage to the kidneys. It's an adaptation. You need more investigation. The doctor needs to be a freaking detective, not some Pez dispensing medical machine, okay? So if you're diagnosed with high blood pressure, Ask the doctor why. Because the number one cause of high blood pressure, guess what it is? It's idiopathic. Yes, you know. Root word, idiot. We don't know what causes it. It just happens to be. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, here's from the government site. Okay.
We don't know what causes it, but we got it.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't take your car to a mechanic that says, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I got a lot of therapies for it. That's a little nuts. Okay, this is from the government. I know, okay, if I put this on like 3 years ago, some people might actually respected and liked our government. Okay, but this, kidney damage from some medicines, poisons, or infections. Medicines that can harm kidneys include antibiotics, pain medications such as aspirin and ibuprofen, blood pressure medications such as ACE inhibitors, and some dyes and x-ray tests. This is what can harm your kidneys. Now, if you have a kidney issue, what do you get? Controlling the blood pressure will further slow damage to the kidneys. Don't know where they're coming up with that. That's why they give a blood pressure drug called an ACE inhibitor. Wait. ACE inhibitors cause kidney damage, but for kidney damage, you're going to give an ACE inhibitor. And you thought weed wasn't legal in DC. My gosh, it kind of makes sense. This is, what are we going to do? 1 mask, no mask, 2 masks, 3 masks, 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots. Okay, social distance, Oh yeah. If you're like really comfortable with all the decisions, thinking that, yeah, we're going to be doing it again. Okay, so the kidneys.
What happens if they ask you to take? You haven't taken the 5th.
Oh, okay. So I got the only mic, but if somebody says you should take the 6th shot, even though you haven't taken the 5th shot, what do? No problem. We just catch you up. You get all that stuff in one visit. I like the way you think. Okay, now 15% of the people today on dialysis are there as a result of damage from Tylenol and or aspirin. 15%. So you can change 15% of this by stopping giving the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Now, daily aspirin. Some barbarians are still recommending this. Now, what they did, and this is to prevent, what do they say? Aspirin a day for a healthy heart. So when you look at this is out of the Journal of the American Medical Association. Researchers note that conventional non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are associated with a spectrum of toxic effects that patients might be unaware of. GI complications or gastrointestinal up to 450%. So now, so you're talking gastrointestinal bleeding, loss, liver toxicities, kidney damage, but also if you're looking at non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, they destroy the building block of cartilage. Okay, and the aspirin is one of the leading causes of kidney damage. Now, if you're going to take it, no difference was noted in the incidence of cardiovascular, irrespective of aspirin use. So wait a second, it causes damage, and there wasn't really a good outcome for this. So let's look at another study. Now, this was really a good study, 2013. They had 100,000 people taking daily aspirin, okay? Out of that, around 33 to 46 lives were saved. So say an average of 40 lives. 100,000 people taking it, 40 lives are saved. Okay, really nice. Isn't that nice? Okay, of course, about 100 people will die of gastrointestinal bleeding and around 9 or 10 will die of stroke. So wait a second. What does aspirin do? It thins what? The blood. I have water here, and this is a good blood thinner with very few side effects, particularly in volumes of a quart or less a day or a gallon a day. It's insane. Oh, here. Clear that there is an incredibly fine balance between the possible benefits and risk of the intervention. We need to be extremely careful about over-promoting aspirin intervention without having first fully understood the negative side effects. Wouldn't that be cool if that was true with all medications? Okay. Childhood membranous and nephropathy. There's a problem with the nephron. Remember the functional unit. Now, why would it happen in kids? Well, bovine albumin is one of cow's milk and beef proteins that can be escape from the intestinal barrier, thus form antibovine serum albumin antibodies. Now, what's interesting, when it escapes, your body is designed, you have this system that if you see a protein floating around in there that's not tempered by digestion, bam, the immune system goes after it. And I mean after it freaking hard. And this is why increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut is associated with thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, with a lot of different conditions. But now this bovine serum albumin, if this gets inside of the bloodstream, away from the intestinal barrier, it can damage the kidneys. Now, I'm just curious at how this would happen. Well, let's look at the standard mother and the standard father in the year 2018. Okay, not 2022, because this is crazy year. Okay, so the mom probably had a synthetic hormone called estrogen, which does increase damage to her production, damages her hormones, and it's like long-term not really good for you. Now, the dad has BPA exposure, so it lowers his sperm count. They both have GMO food because it's the cheapest and it's off the coffee truck. They got some injectable every year, and at their age, they had 36 Vensurds from birth to 18 years old. Okay, we can't say this because it's censored up here, so it starts with a V. Can't say Voldemort either. Okay, then of course they've had antibiotics for every cold, even though it's from viruses, and toxic food. So now, child, hospital birth. If the mom gets Pitocin, the child has a 60% increased risk of neurologic damage from the Vensers. Okay, if the mom had an epidural, she is unaware of the trauma happening to the kid after the Pitocin. If there's a C-section, that's 4 times the amount of pressure on a child's neck. And then, of course, you've got, should have covered that one up. And within 12 hours, and if the mom had Pitocin and an epidural, she might have trouble letting down her milk. So then the child is going to get a genetically modified soy protein formula, which mainly is sugar, high fructose corn syrup. And of course, you're going to mix it with the water coming out of the sink, and then you microwave it. Okay, now the microwaving is going to be in plastic. Honest to gosh, I know right now you're going, no! Okay, people are actually doing this because they're programmed by the TV. These are incredibly sick kids. When I see these, and then they get a medical procedure, day 1, week 4, week 8, week 24, 1 year, 18 months, 2 years, 4 to 6 years, in a healthy child. Now, if you're going to do medical interventions in a healthy child, should those interventions be proven, I don't know, safe and effective? Would that be good? It'd be nice to have a study on them. But this is such a dangerous topic, we can't even mention it. We can't even mention it. There can't be a level playing field. And I'll tell you, if there's a level playing field, I would kick their ass. Okay? Now, the health of the kids today, 50% have a chronic illness or injury. I like this. This is an old study. By 60 to 70% of American children by 2016 are going to be chronically ill, obese, and infertile. Are we seeing a fertility issue around the world? Yeah. Just for the heck of it, look at fertility problems in Africa. It probably has nothing to do with the programs that the Catholic Church uncovered in Ethiopia and Nigeria about 10, 15 years ago, okay, of certain things like tetanus things that were causing it. Now, this is the typical, because, we were talking about bovine serum getting into a child causing damage to the kidney. And how could that do it? Do all these kids have a leaky gut? Well, it's actually injected into them. See, there's certain injectable medical procedures that actually have a number of different proteins. And remember, the immune system goes crazy if you put proteins that aren't tempered by digestion. It's just, I can't really delve into that because, the first time I did this lecture, it was been wiped out. This is the health of the kids. Okay, these are all leaky guts. Now, if you know that this is going to cause damage or inflammation, you've got the gut-brain connection. You've got anxiety, stress. 8-year-old children with ulcerative colitis, okay, if I said there was a puppy with ulcerative colitis, would you think that that was an inbred creature that has horrible food? Yeah. No, these are our kids. Now, one of the reasons is the GMOs, and this is generally recognized as safe. There were no human studies on it. So if you get a GMO corn, okay, and we just did a conference in Nebraska or North Dakota, they said you get paid the same for organic corn and GMO corn, okay, the big farmers up there. And so you've got to spray it with these herbicides. Now, and they're trying to do more and more because they have Terminator technology. Now, if you can control the seeds, you can control the food, you can control the herbicides and pesticides, you make a lot of money, a lot of money. Plus, you make enough to support the government and all the politicians to support their campaigns. So they're going to pass laws to force the farmers to get subsidies in order to utilize your product. Because now in North Dakota, where I was there, I'm saying, look, you guys are destroying the soil. Okay, it's monocrops. Monocrops should scare the hell out of all farmers because this is a recipe for disaster. You get one bug that can go in there, you're wiping out the entire crop. And since we're utilizing corn for animal feed, you're going to wipe out a lot of different things down the line. And I talked to a senator there. They said, look, there's no plan B. The government is looking at it because why? Business is doing good. The pesticide company and everyone else is doing good, but we got to stop this. I mean, our people are getting sicker and sicker, okay? Because what's type 2 diabetes from? Blood poisoning, toxic food, okay? Polycystic ovary, what's that from? Toxic food, okay? Every kid today, behavioral, bowel, breathing, skin issues, what's that from? Toxic medical interventions and toxic food. You do an intervention in a child that's healthy, that better be safe. If not, let's make it safe. Glyphosate herbicides are toxic and endocrine disruptors in humans. You have two communication pathways. You got the nervous system, which is the electrical. You got the hormonal system, which is chemical. Now, endocrine disruptors, they're kind of like hormones, but not really hormones. So they get in the system, and your body doesn't really know what to do with them. This is where you get a lot of autoimmune conditions, inflammatory aspects of the kidney, inflammatory aspects of the lung, of the heart, everything. So now a real cell impact of glyphosate-based herbicide residues in food, feed, or the environment can be considered in a classification as carcinogens, mutagens, reproductive toxics is discussed. So this means that the herbicide that they're spraying, this is why 500 miles either side of the Mississippi, it's called the cancer belt. Okay, this has never been this way. Okay, because we're poisoning the water, poisoning everything. Fertility issues, everything. I mean, you're looking at 50% cancer rates in America. BT corn. Now remember, none of this stuff was tested on humans. It's generally recognized as safe. You don't need to look into it. There's nothing to see here. Except they decided to make a corn that produced its own insecticide in its pollen. I know. What could possibly go wrong? It sounds good to me. Well, the insecticide destroys the gastrointestinal tract of all the insects that try and eat it. No, Senator, you don't need to approve that. Just here's your check for your campaign. Yeah, it's generally recognized as safe. Okay, so this stuff, it destroys the intestinal tract of insects. Now, what they found it in umbilical cords of children. That means it survived the cow's digestion, survived the processing of the meat, survived the mom's digestion, got into her bloodstream and into her child. So we're affecting a second generation. Maternal fetal exposure to pesticides, associated genetically modified foods. Okay, the GMO protein in the meat survives the cooking, survives the woman's digestion, and her blood across the placenta. That's the reproductive toxicology. So do we have a fertility issue in this country? Yes. Now, 19 studies of mammals fed commercialized genetically modified soybeans and maize represent per trait and per plant more than 80% of all environmental genetically modified organisms cultivated on a wide scale. Results, several convergent data appear to indicate liver and kidney problems as endpoints of the GMO diet. They reveal that kidneys are particularly affected, the concentrations of 43.5% of all disrupted parameters in males, where the liver was more specifically disrupted in females. This is approved and is generally recognized as safe. Okay, it damages your kidneys and damages your liver. Now, what's interesting is, and I'm just thinking, like, let's say you're an intelligent design, you're built by God, you're designed to live here, you've been here for tens of thousands of generations. Okay, your species has never had chronic liver or kidney issues. Okay, that would make you defective. So, what can prevent this? What can help? Oh my gosh! Here's the American Journal of Epidemiology. Flavonoids found in numerous fruits and vegetables have certain types of tea. Antioxidants prevent cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses. High broccoli consumption reduces heart attacks. It helps to reduce oxidation of LDL. Think of this, plants, antioxidants. When you're talking kidney damage, that's tissue damage. Tissue damage creates an inflammatory response. Inflammation is how the body heals. And what the plant products do is they deactivate the free radicals, allowing the kidney to heal, allowing everything to heal. Wait, it can't be that simple. Heart disease and cancer can be prevented by having a high plant-based diet? Oh my gosh. NFKB. Now, this is a protein complex found in all animal cells and involved in cellular stimulus to stress response. Now, this is so similar. Remember, stress response is a fight or flight, rest and digest. Fight or flight is what they're talking about. Now, this, the activation of the transcripting factor is linked to inflammatory diseases. So anything that causes inflammation is bad. Okay, like you're damaging tissue. Wait, let me word that in English. If you're damaging tissue, that's not good for you. Should I go slower? It's like, duh. Okay, well, the plants, in every plant, every fruit and vegetable contains some type of factor that inhibits this process. So if you're eating more plants, you're going to help with cancer, hardening of the arteries, myocardial infarction, diabetes, asthma. What do we talk about type 2 diabetes? Go on a plant-only diet for a month and a half. Look at Gabriel Cousins. It's simple. Multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis. It can't be that simple. You change what you're putting in your body, you deal effectively with the stressors, and your body can recover. So if you got physical stress, you identify it with x-rays, nerve scan, posture analysis. This is what we do. Okay, you correct it by doing adjustments, exercises, get your body working. And deep breathing. Emotional, neurolinguistic programming, 100 things to do, be, or become. Turn off CNN, okay, and deep breathing, okay. Chemicals, well, one of them we can't talk about because it's censored. But if you are getting that, chelation would be great, except the new innovative one that's never been used in human, you can't chelate that one out. We're going to talk about that on the second part. Medications. If you're taking medications to alter your physiology, find why your physiology is messed up, okay, and fix the cause. Plant-based, organic, air filters, deep breathing. This is it. If you have a kidney issue, you also have 3 other detoxing pathways: respiration, perspiration, and bowel movements, along with urination. Anybody that's got kidney damage, start increasing this. Find the physical, chemical, emotional stress. Saunas, this is fantastic. Poor man sauna is great. You put magnesium on your tummy and chest, wrap yourself in towels, sleep. You're going to sweat like crazy. And that's why I say sleep in towels, because it's a heck of a lot easier to wash the towels than it is to change the sheets. Okay, give me an amen to anyone that's done that. It's bad to sleep in slimy, sweaty sheets. Okay, so stop the neurotoxins. Whoop, should put that in there. Fix the problem, gluten-free, juicing, blending, plant-based diet. It seems too simple, but that's how the body works. Remember, we're in the darkest age of mankind. The 1300s were brighter than this one. You have a symptom. I'm going to give you a toxic chemical that alters your physiology that has a myriad of side effects. Okay, and we're going to call this, hell, I don't know, healthcare. Okay, now don't worry. The companies that we're getting these chemicals from are going to fund the government and fund your media, so you will be inundated all day long to want to run through that field of flowers as long as you take Sominex or Lunesta or something else. Of course, side effects may be. Okay, you know. Hey, man, I want to run through the field too. I just don't want to have a side effect of death. Okay, so now this is live on Facebook, on YouTube. This is the stuff that we can talk about. And I think I'm getting better with the whole censored thing, so I think it might stay on. Okay, but now we're going to get into the dangerous area. So Facebook and YouTube are going to be back next week. We're going to have a little bit on the liver and stuff, but if you got kidney damage, you can heal, clean the blood, get somebody to analyze the blood. We do a dark field microscopy, live blood cell analysis at both our clinics. That is a good way to start. And then look at the physical, chemical, emotional stress, and you can recover.